scary.
road yet.
That's right.
Hey, you know, maybe we'll liven things up. Just for you, Richard.
No, thanks.
Everybody gets up and starts screaming, we'll just all point to you.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Kenny probably.
Hey, I took my share over the years.
I know, that was the last thing I wanted to have happen was to get lively.
Well, you gotta remember, you can't ever make everybody happy.
Oh, no, I realize that. Yeah.
You do what you think is best,
Or you
and
have to go around.
This side of the drive up is for example, the close.
Oh, no, right down in front of us, so I gotta do. I just drive up to the top, park on the bridge. Run across, jump in the car.
You can. Sidewalks full.
You know, there's actually significance in the number of times the hammer gets hit.
Is there?
They messed up on our drawings too. Warren Bridget messed up on the asphalt. We don't care. 4.5. We don't care.
Well, have you?
Why they don't use trillium more is
okay, 7 o'clock. You're in charge, man.
I'd like to call the April 16th City Council meeting for City of Ferrisburg to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Hop, Mayor Pro Tem O'Donnell,
Here.
Councilmember Kennedy,
here.
Councilmember DeWitt,
Here.
Councilmember Twa,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson,
Here.
Councilmember Belize.
Present.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I would make a motion that we excuse Mayor Hop.
Support.
Have motion support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Please stand for the roll, invocation by Councilmember Twa and Pledge of Allegiance.
Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour, asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us a desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that you would challenge each other to reach higher and further to be the best that we can be. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, we invite public comments. At this time, the agenda is for any citizen to direct brief comments or questions to the City Council. This time for public comments will be given when the agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand and be recognized by the mayor. And after being recognized, please stand, give your name and address for the record. Proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Also, there'll be, during the work session, there will be no public comments, but we will take, you can address the issues either now or at the end of the meeting. Yes.
Barry Grodeman, I'm Ferrisburg's representative on the Coast Guard Festival Committee, and I have this year's new pins for the City Council.
All right. Swag. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Ooh, you like it.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Oh, the Escanaba.
Them are nice.
Did you have a report that you wanted to?
No, there's nothing really yet to what's coming for the picnic or whatever. The Escanaba is going to be here. That's the big thing.
How many years has it been? I read it somewhere and I cannot remember it. Several.
This will be
I
the
don't-
third time it's been here, but it's been, I think, back in the 90s or so, or very early 2000s.
Okay.
was the last time it was here.
Yeah. Okay. The whole Escanaba thing, yeah.
Lisa Royce, 17700 Navajo. I just got a comment about the ordinance number 293 for the landline. Once again, I hope that city council votes it down. I think requiring just short-term rentals to have landlines is discrimination about everybody out there. I think you're gonna run into huge court problems if that happens, if you're not gonna make regular property owners do the same thing as rentals. I think it's discrimination, because if a homeowner owns it out there, they're gonna have the same problem with getting fire department, everything out there as a renter would be. So I think that you're putting undue burden on, property owners. So that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll close the public comment section. Move to item 6, consideration for approval of consent agenda. 6A, approval of April 2nd, 2018 City Council meeting minutes as printed. B, ordinance number 293, an ordinance to amend provisions regarding rental permits to require landline phone for each short-term rental unit. And 6C, adopt a resolution to support Smith's Bridge project grant request.
So moved?
Got a motion, support, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item 7, new business, 7A. Discuss and to take action, if appropriate, to approve or not approve a recommendation from the Planning Commission to amend the Leppings Plaza Planned Unit Development, or PUD, located at the northwest corner of Dogwood Drive and 174th Avenue, parcel number 70-03-09-300-059, commonly known as 17717 174th Avenue, for a veterinary office. If approved, this will amend the Leppings PUD development plan previously approved by the Planning Commission on January 7th, 1982, amended by the Planning Commission in 1982, 1992, and 2004, 2006, and 2011. And Craig?
We received a request to put a veterinarian's office at Leppings Plaza. That plaza was developed as a PUD. A veterinarian office is allowed in that zone district as a special land use. To approve this, the Planning Commission held a public hearing at their last meeting in April. There was no public comments. After the public hearing, the Planning Commission discussed it, found no concerns with the proposal, and made a recommendation to City Council to approve this request.
Craig, I have a question here. It says that they had no anticipation for any outdoor activities. I saw it somewhere. There are no outdoor improvements associated with the request, only the change of use in the space within existing building. I'm assuming they're gonna have a dog walk area where the dogs can relieve themselves? Oh, thank you. Come on up to the podium if you would, please.
Address is 709 Fall Street in Spring Lake. Most of the time, there wouldn't be any fenced-in or enclosed area. It'd just be if people are walking in, if the dogs relieve themselves, and we'll be taking care of any waste that would be deposited in the grass area that's right at the end of the building there. But that's not like a designated area. No fencing, nothing external to the building.
Okay, as I'm looking at this, you would be the end building, correct?
Yeah, the last two units.
So your proposal would be on the very That'd be the south end of the building there, where the dogs would use.
If the people would walk their dogs there.
Okay.
They wouldn't necessarily be directed there.
Okay, what about in the process of your business?
Same thing, we could walk the dogs outside there, leashed,
Okay. All right, thank you.
but it'd be picked up, yep.
Craig, do you see that as an issue? Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, questions? Do you hear motions for support?
Your Honor, I would make a motion that we approve the recommendation from Planning Commission to amend Leppings Plaza PUD unit on the northwest corner of Dogwood Drive, 174th Avenue parcel. Do I need to read all this, Craig? Okay, there you go.
Okay, we have a motion support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. 7B, discussion and to take action, if appropriate, to approve a proposal from Preen and Noonhoff for $99,300 for design, engineering, and construction engineering for the North Shore Drive project. That's something new engineering firm?
Yes, this is a project that we've had on the books for a while. We're getting the federal highway monies to reconstruct North Shore Drive. This is going to be a joint project between the city of Grand Haven and the city of Ferrisburg to do the entire length from North Beach Park to the south end of Grand Haven. We got together with Grand Haven city staff and discussed engineering. We received a proposal from Prine and Newhoff. City of Grand Haven received a quote from their engineer, Abernathy, out of Benton Harbor. Prine and Newhoff was a low bidder. We did do some reference checking, and we found that the projects that they have worked on have come out favorable, and made a recommendation that we hire them. So in your packet was the cost breakdown between the city of Grand Haven and the city of Ferrisburg. We're about 36% of the project cost for engineering. We do have a representative from Prine and Newhoff here, if you would like to introduce himself, Kevin.
Thanks. Kevin Keefe with Prine and Newhoff. I work out of our Muskegon office, and I've also been working on the SAW project that we have for the wastewater and the stormwater improvements, and also doing some work on the pump station project for the city. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any.
Yeah, I have a question.
North Shore project.
I have a question. In this letter from Craig, it says that Prine and Newhoff has not done a street project.
Has not done a street project for the city, probably. Yeah,
for us,
right.
But they have done street projects from what I could see in here. Okay, has not done a street project for us. All right. I have a question just for Craig. Craig, is there a reason why we didn't involve more in Brugink?
We've had a couple projects with that firm recently. They haven't really turned out to the satisfaction of staff. We worked with Prine and Newhoff on our water mains, sewer mains, and our lift stations. We're impressed with the work that they've been doing, and so we thought we'd give them a chance to bid on a project for the city.
Asking for competitive bids on this, or?
The city of Grand Haven got a bid from their engineer as well.
Okay. I have one other question on the.
So before we leave that, Prine and Newhoff will do the engineering for the entire project. City of Grand Haven will hire Prine and Newhoff. The city of Ferrisburg, if they hire Prine and Newhoff, they'll do the engineering for the entire stretch of North Shore Drive.
So
we were approved at the Grand Haven City Council last week for that portion.
So as I'm understanding it, they would be the engineer for the entire project, not just our portion of the contract. Okay.
I have one more question.
Okay.
On the second page here, it's on the bottom of the back page, it says you should know FHWA's obligation process has delayed many recent projects. Can you tell me what FHWA stands for, please?
Federal Highway Administration.
Okay.
They have different funding mechanisms that come into play with various approvals. So,
Do you anticipate problems with them then?
I don't know, Craig, you could probably speak more on that as far as what you've seen locally, but I know.
When we worked with this agency in the past, as long as we have all our ducks in a row and meet their deadlines, we don't have any issues. That's why we want to hire the engineer now to make sure that we can get the design engineering done, go to grade inspection, get approved by MDOT to be obligated and get our funds. We followed the steps. They have a timeline that they put out. As long as we stay on that track, we shouldn't have any problems.
Okay. You also said that this project has, I'm not sure exactly what the phrase was, but has some specific challenges.
Unique challenges.
Yes. Can you explain some of those?
One of them is access. There's one way in, one way out. Kind of, you've experienced that with the North Shore project. We were also working on the North Shore Estates Drive on the north end, north of the park with Spring Lake Township, and we did that joint with the city of Ferrisburg. So I guess I didn't mention that we did that portion of North Shore previously, so we did do a project in the city, but it was in conjunction with Spring Lake Township. So access is one. The limited, we're looking at bike lanes has been recommended. So if you've been down through there, it's very tight with improvements on each side. So that'll have to be taken into design considerations. We have critical dunes, conservation districts will have to get their approval and work with the DEQ on those items. So really schedule with the tourism. We looked at, as part of our packet, looking at doing it in a split construction where we do the southern half in Grand Haven before Memorial Day or into that early stages of June. Hopefully we don't have weather like this where they can get in there in early April and be working, and then looking at staging it for the second half of the portion in Ferrisburg after Labor Day to avoid having the summer tied up through there. So
Okay.
that's one of the main items there.
All right. You also speculate that there'll be concrete underneath the asphalt, and that might be a problem, or you just think that it's going to be?
It looks to be, just from aerial photos and seeing the cracking that's occurring, it looks to be in the Grand Haven portion. We'll do soil borings in that to determine. It just impacts some of the schedule. It's a little, longer time frame just for removals and that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it doesn't look like the Ferrisburg portion. We're not seeing that initial evidence, and that it may have been reconstructed. I think Matt and we talked a little bit about that, but we'll do soil borings just to confirm.
Craig, are we doing any underground structures, sewer, water, anything like that in conjunction with this project?
Take a look at some of the storm sewer out there. There's no storm sewer out there now, but we want to look at some drainage issues that we have out there.
Are they going to be addressed in this project? I don't want another thing like we had on Cove where we put that cul-de-sac in and then we had people flooding.
Yes, we will. We'll have a pre-con meeting with the engineer to address our concerns and what we know out there in the area, and have him address those while he's designing the street project.
Be included in this design fee?
Yeah,
No.
that'll take place as part of a kickoff meeting where we'll have.
Okay, am I correct in assuming that Grand Haven approved these guys for their project? They're part of the project, correct? Okay, so that makes sense that we use them on this project with them?
We want to use one engineer for the entire project.
No.
One contractor as well.
Right. As I understand, they've done work, city streets and such what in the past, years ago.
Right, just Kevin just addressed that, and then mainly they've done all of our work on water and sewer, or most of our work on water and sewer mains and the lift stations. Currently working with the city on the SAW grant.
I guess my question would be, why do we have two engineers? It would seem to me that if we they're doing all our water sewer work, all our lift station work. I would like to see competitive bidding on other street projects, rather than just automatically giving it to Moore and Brusnik. Because, the last few projects they've done have not turned out to my satisfaction anyway, and I know Matt said we've had issues with it. I mean, Virginia Street is a classic example. Water runs downhill. How come they couldn't figure that out? I just don't understand that. Why we had water running in people's yards off our street that we had redone. So, okie dokie, that's all I got.
Nope. Your motion for support this item?
Your Honor, I would make a motion that, approve a proposal from Prima Newhoff for $99,300 for design engineering and construction engineering for North Shore Drive project. Do I need to go into conjunction with Grand Haven? Okay.
Support.
We have a motion, support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. All right, motion pass. 7C, discussion to take action, if appropriate, to approve a license agreement between the city of Ferrisburg and Dennis Cron for the replacement of a driveway pad in the Piney Point Drive and North Shore Drive public right-of-way, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement. Craig.
Mr. Cron lives at the intersection of Piney Point and North Shore Drive. His driveway exits onto North Shore Drive, so when he's backing out of the garage, he backs right onto North Shore Drive. He's proposing that he would like to put a pad in there so he can have a turnaround and have a forward entrance onto North Shore Drive. To put that pad in, part of it would be on our city right-of-way, the Piney Point right-of-way and North Shore Drive right-of-way. We've looked at it. Mr. Schindelbeck has gone out there and looked at it and has no issues. We've drafted a license agreement for your review. It's been reviewed by the city attorney, and this would be just for backing up purposes only to get from the garage onto North Shore Drive.
Craig, as I'm looking at this proposal, he doesn't propose on backing out into North Shore Drive. He's using this as a turnaround to pull out onto North Shore Drive.
Or he would exit from the back out of the garage into the pad and then forward drive onto the street.
All right, thank you. So, as I understand it, the city has no objections. Matt? Craig? Okay.
I'll motion that we allow this turnabout at the, for Dennis Cron for the placement of his driveway pad.
Support. We have motion, support. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passed. 7D, discuss and take action if appropriate to approve a bid for a 2019 single-action cab and chassis straight truck for a set amount of dollars. So we've got several bids here. Right.
Right. In our capital improvement plan to replace the 2008 dump truck, we looked at My Deal, which is the state bidding, solicits bids, and we get a price from it, a truck with their specs that would meet the city specs, and then the low bid was an international. Mr. Schindelbeck has done some research and got a couple other bids. We've had some issues with the international. It's our salt truck. When the salt truck is in the shop, we're not able to put salt down. It's not safe. It's not good. We need a dependable truck when we're out there using, putting road salt down. Mr. Schindelbeck is recommending that the city purchase a Peterbilt. It's $2,000 more than the My Deal program, the international. He's done some research with the Peterbilt and feels that it's a better quality truck and we would have less problems with it. So this motion would be to approve a dump truck the Peterbilt for $2,000 more than the low bid.
Craig, I have a question for Matt.
Sure.
Matt, you say our fleet is all international, is that correct? Are they, what is the age difference in some of these trucks? I mean, from,
04, 07, 2011, and a 15.
okay, so we're 10 years from the oldest to the newest, and this is which one?
No, we're probably 15.
15 years?
Yeah, from the oldest to the newest.
And where does this one fall in?
This would be new, so an 18. This would
No,
replace.
the one that we're having issues with.
We're having issues with all of them besides the oldest one. That
Okay,
was,
so this is a recurring issue with
yes,
most of the internationals then?
since 2008 or 9, since those emission standards came into effect.
For the diesels?
Yeah, they've had a hard time. International, especially, has had a hard time keeping the emissions down and creating horsepower without having a bunch of problems electronically, I guess is the easiest way to say it. Their computer system on these trucks they just go haywire on us. All these lights come up on the dashboard. You can't drive over 25 miles per hour. You got to bring it to the shop. They got to hook it up to a computer. It's not like it used to be. You could just open the hood and see what was wrong and fix it. It's all electronic now.
In your opinion, then, the Peterbilt is a better truck?
Well, from what I've heard, I've never driven one.
Okay.
I called some leaders from Kalkaska County where they have a lot of snow, Muskegon County, Ottawa County, and most of these guys are going to Peterbilts and Kenworths. And Peterbilt just seems to be like the best option for us. I'm not going to argue with you, Mike.
I know people that have three-year-old wreckers that are sitting in a scrap heap because they can't keep them going. So I think you're making a wise business decision here, even if it's a couple $1,000s more to go with the Peterbilt. I've heard nothing but good about the new Peterbilts. They don't have the issues that International has. I know several companies that have scrapped Internationals and gone with Peterbilts. The only question I got is, where would that be serviced out of? Is that out of Grand Rapids?
Got 1 year.
Well,
1
we
year
don't care about
warranty
the
in
warranty.
St. John's.
Oh, St. John's, so we have a
service.
local supplier
Yep.
or local.
It's a little bit more expensive, but it's right down the road.
Right, okay.
Yes, they do. Little Dave does, yep.
If the city council approves this truck purchase, it will be about a 10-week time frame before we get the truck. Once we get the truck, we got to outfit it for snow plowing. So Mr. Schindelbeck will get some bids for doing that, and that will come back to the city council at a later time. That's probably another $45,000. So you're looking at the $94,000 for the truck plus another $45,000 to outfit it.
Was this planned for in this year's budget?
Yes, it is. But it'll probably carry over into next year because I'm not sure we're going to get it this year.
Greg, off the top of your head, I know you don't know the exact number, but what's the number we have in vehicle replacement fund?
We have budgeted for this truck is $140,000.
What's the balance in that account? Do you know offhand? As I recall, wasn't it around 270?
No.
Okay, yeah, you know, David? Well, my concern is, excuse me? Well, it's within the budget, but my concern is, I realize we may have to do this simply because we can't keep the trucks running. But the odds of us getting that vehicle replacement fund renewed, that millage renewed, is slim. So we need to be careful to spend that money wisely. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna have to raise sewer rates, and we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna ask for that replacement millage, and I just don't see it passing. And, so let's bite the bullet where we can on that.
Make sure the citizens know part of their services.
All they're gonna see is their sewer bill's gonna go up. Would you like a motion, Your Honor?
Yes, I would.
Your Honor, I would make a motion that we approve the Peterbilt at $94,500. I don't see the 2019 single axle cab and chassis straight truck for, what was it? 94.5.
Support.
We have a motion support. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. 7E, work session on city budget sewer rates. Craig gave us some figures here. I think it's like 3 options. I also have another option to present.
Discussed in the past, a couple meetings ago, the sewer rates, they're going to be needed to change with the improvements coming down the pipeline. We're responsible for a portion of the force being replaced. We're responsible for a portion of the wastewater treatment plant improvements over there. And the city is totally responsible for the lift station improvements that are planned in the city here later this year. To do that, it's probably about a $2.6 million project for the city of Ferrisburg over 20 years. With interest, it's probably close to pushing up to $3.6 million that the city will have to pay back over 20 years. To do that, there's a number of, all the sewer customers will have to pay for those improvements. And so in your packet was 3 scenarios of how to raise the rates to pay for these improvements. The first one in your packet was a $10 rate and rate surcharge and a 4-cent increase in the sewer rate. And you can see in there that it would raise around $65,000 over 1 year. Next page was a $20 rate to surcharge increase, and it's still the 4 cents per sewer rate increase, and that would bring us about $117,000, which our debt service is $194,000, leaving a shortage of about $76,000. Moving forward to the next page, with a $25 increase in the ready to serve charge, it would raise a revenue of about $144,000 over 1 year, still leaving a shortage of about $50,000 on the debt service payments. If we were going to raise rates, staff would propose that the ready to serve charge be raised $20. First payment on these bonds will not be until January 1st, so the next fiscal year we're only going to have 1 debt service payment on the interest. And then we can just kind of look at it and see where we are, how much more it needs to be increased to cover our debt service payments in the next fiscal year.
Estimation, I realize we haven't floated the bond yet, but what do you estimate that the cost of the money will be? You're looking at $3.5 million, as I recall.
$6 million in the project, payback of $3.6 million with interest.
Okay, times 20 years.
That's correct.
And divided by 20, what's our payment?
The debt service payment is going to be about $194,000 principal and interest every year.
So how are we going to make up if we do the $25 sewer rate RTSing? We're still at roughly $50,000 short. How do you propose to make that up?
The rates this year, anticipating that these payments were coming. So the cash flow in the sewer fund has increased over this fiscal year. We've done 2 billings. We just put out the 3rd billing on this fiscal year, so we still got 2 billings of revenue to account for coming up in this fiscal year. There might be some things we can do administratively to try to reduce the expense in there. The sewer fund and the water fund pay a portion of the Public Works Department's wages, a portion of City Hall wages. Maybe we can do some adjustments that the sewer fund doesn't pay all those wages. Maybe the guys are doing less work out there in the sewer department with the new lift stations. They won't be spending much time out there, hopefully. I'm not saying they're not going to have to be raised next year. I just want to, instead of taking the whole bite at one time, take a bite this time and a bite next fiscal year.
Are we gonna float the bond? That's in the next fiscal year in July?
Yeah, it should be coming out in July, in June or July, and the first payment would be January 1st.
So it'd be January 1st of 19.
Correct.
What's the balance in that fund now? You got ballpark idea? As I recall, one around 280, 290? Okay. So that's, basically you're looking at 5 years and we've exhausted the money we have in reserve, assuming we don't have any sewer breakdowns, correct? What's the odds of that, Matt? Hopefully good.
I'd say they're good. 5 years?
Oh, it's all gonna fall apart in 6 years?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're pretty good as far
It's
as.
mostly plastic, so the lines are plastic. They're probably in pretty good shape, and we're gonna find out when we do the SAW grant, they're gonna televise those lines and clean them, so.
So I guess my question to you is, you're comfortable with us depleting that balance down to?
I'm not comfortable with that. Ask the dog.
We don't need it, we're not gonna deplete it. We're gonna have to raise the rates again next fiscal year.
Question would be, we're gonna take we're gonna get hammered regardless of, should we factor in just one raise? It may last 2, 3, 4 years?
Well, I'd like to put out another possible option, make this a millage issue. I believe at 1 mil, we bring in approximately 180,000 a year. Okay. And that would, I think, would make it a little bit more palatable for the people to accept the increase. Let them have a say. It's got to come either through us raising rates or them raising rates. And I think they might be a little better for them saying, okay, yeah, we'll do that. But it does have an end date of 20 years. At 180,000, we'll be short about 14,000 with the 290 we have in there. If we didn't raise the sewer rates, we could just take that 290 and over the 20 years that would cover the $14 or $14,000 deficit each year. So maybe that'd be another option. Be asking for a 1 mil increase.
Well, the other option is, we're gonna have to float a millage for the bridge.
Right.
Whether that's 1 mil, 5 mil, whatever it is. We don't know that number yet, but we're not going to get 2 millage approved.
But I think we might have a little bit more chance of getting that bridge millage passed if they didn't all of a sudden have this us telling them, well, you got to pay another $200 a year or whatever it is. Let them make the decision.
Well, in theory that might be good.
And it does have an end date.
Yeah, in theory that might be good, except Matt just said that we're gonna deplete the money we already have in there, which we had close to a $30,000 balance. We've built that up to almost 300,000 now over the last 3 years we've been working on this. So we're gaining some equity there to make repairs if needed. Well, now
We'll still have it.
we won't have it because at 100 at your millage rate, we're still short.
But you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that extra money coming in from the sewer rate to help replenish some of that comes out. It's not gonna be happen, where we didn't get any.
Well, I think, correct me if a millage and it gets voted down, we're gonna have to come back and raise.
We still have to raise it. We would have to raise it.
Right. So I guess I would be reluctant to have to put 2 millages on the ballot because we know we're gonna have to put a millage for the bridge on at some point.
After getting the sewage millage rejected.
Right, right. I mean, they're gonna reject the millage, so basically what it has to come down to is we have to increase the sewer rates to pay for this bonding.
But we're still gonna be in a deficit at, even at $20 increase, we're gonna be at a,
Craig, I thought at the last meeting, we talked about, we were discussing the fact of maybe doing $10 now and $10 next year. You're proposing $20 now with another increase next year, is that correct? Or increasing the rates next year and not the RTS?
That's correct. One of the two, you know, there might be a little of both. If you're raising the sewer rate, and then the people that use it more theoretically pay more. The sewer.
I don't know what the problem is, you know, we're pumping more sewage than we are buying water, which means there's a lot of illegal sump pumps hooked up.
And we don't know what's going to.
We've been fighting that issue for, what, 5-6 years now.
Does the system have a lot of infiltration on it?
That's another, that SAW grant that Kevin Pride and New Hall for working on for us is.
They're all hooked up illegally. There's hundreds of them. Possibly. But I know for a fact that our building inspector tags it. They makes them disconnect it, and he ain't even out of the driveway yet, and they're hooking it back up. So basically, we're taking additional sewage in that we have to pay to dispose of, that they're not technically paying for, because their water, they used 100 gallons of water and they sold us 1,000 gallons of sewage. You know what I'm saying? So that's an issue all over the city, because the city's low, and we all know that. You know, I mean, building inspector, you know it, man. You see it all the time. You go in the house to change a meter or something.
Your Honor, I have a question. You said administration, there's things you can do administratively. Are you talking layoffs or cutting the services?
Oh, like, let's say DPW spends 20 hours a week on sewer-related items at lift stations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
With the new improvements, maybe they cut that down to 10 hours a week. And so those 10 hours of wages would not be charged as a sewer fund.
Also, write off some of their labor for the, like, city staff as against the water, because we have a balance there that is pretty healthy. So instead of writing part of it off to the sewer fund, could we write 100% of city staff time to the water?
You're required to charge each fund for the amount of work that you put into that fund, the sewer. So if we're working on sewer, we can't charge it to the water.
Back to my original question, at $25 sewer rate ready RTC and 0.4, we're still $50,000 short on the bond payment. You're the money man. Tell us what we need to do.
So if we raise the quarterly by $20 a month more, what do you think we're gonna have to do next year?
Up around $30 quarterly between now and next year.
So potentially another 10.
20 this time, 10 next time, yeah.
Okay.
All things being equal, we're working on a SAW grant. We don't know what's going to be found underneath the ground when they start doing some of the work. If they find things that we got to address, that changes the ballgame a little bit.
So I guess from what I'm hearing here is basically we need $30 this year and next year. Is that what I just heard?
This time, yes.
if we do it now, that's gonna build us a little cushion until the bond payments actually come, correct? So if we do run into issues with the SAW grant, we should have a little more cash in there to address, because we're at what, 280, 290 now, say roughly 300. As I'm looking at these numbers, you're looking at another 200 before we actually have to start paying. So we're gonna have about $500,000 in that fund before we actually have to start paying that balance, correct? Ballpark. 400,000. Okay, say 400,000 for giggles. Okay, so now if we run into an issue with, we have to make some kind of repairs with this smoke test, there should be a little extra there to address that.
Choose brakes or something like that, yes.
Okay, now, would it be prudent to, I'm assuming we're gonna do this inspection and SAW grant, this smoke test and everything, prior to our bonding for all the projects.
Council already approved referendum going out for bonds, that's got published. So that's been noticed in the paper that we're going out for the bonds to pay for these improvements for the force main, lift stations and so forth. If no one objects to that referendum or calls for referendum, within 45 days passes, those bonds will be sold, as will be in all the other communities.
Okay, so the bonding referendum has gone out
That's
at
correct.
roughly 3.6 million.
Actually, the total bond was roughly around $13.2 million for all 5 communities.
Right, but our share is 3.6 million
Correct.
with interest
2.6 plus interest, yes,
for the 20 years.
20 years.
That takes care of all our projects. The force main, upgrading all our lift stations.
Something else happens at the wastewater treatment plant, the city pays a portion of that as well.
Downhill, doesn't it?
It's,
No, we're still gonna be short revenue coming in, so we're gonna have to make that up someplace, right? Even with, at $20, don't I see here, $20 raising, we're gonna be short $117,000, or, yeah, 117,000? Or 76, I'm sorry, 76,000. So we're gonna have to come up with $76,000 to cover that shortage.
Well, I guess my point being is we raise it now, and then in August, we're gonna raise it again. I mean, that's the next fiscal year, correct?
this is where we're looking for direction from city council, which way to go. So when you put the budget, you'll have a copy of the budget in your packet this weekend.
Well, in my mind, it's pretty simple, you know, we have to pay for the sewage, we have to pay for the improvements. And if that's $30, that's $30.
The feedback I've gotten from talking to people is they're not happy with us saying we're gonna raise their rates $30.
Well,
They're not happy with
Yeah.
10.
no.
You know, or 10.
You
But-
either take the heat all at once, or you take it over a period of 2 years. And I'm of the belief the sharp knife hurts the least. So, I mean, if it's about doing it once or doing it twice, I want to do it once.
Well, particularly when we're gonna do it twice within 8 months.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Am I correct in that? Because we raise it now. We're gonna have to raise it in 8 months and we. I mean, the bottom line is the sewage has to pay the bill. It's that simple.
We need to get more customers. You pay that down.
Well,
Some
We
of you,
only have 1,300.
some of you on council had expressed dismay about the fact that we were gonna be having people calling up and complaining, particularly some of the people that are less able to pay. I had talked to Craig and I had asked him if he could look into what the BLP is doing, which is what's on the front page. The BLP gives senior discounts. That would at least give an out to some of the people that are senior citizens on fixed income, to say, hey, we give you a rebate if you're X
If they
age.
meet all the criteria.
Right, but that would provide some cover for those people that are of fixed income. And yes, would it transfer some of the costs onto those that have more of the ability to pay? Yes, but some of us have more ability to pay than others. And if you look here, if you look on here, it would give relief to the city staff that's dealing with people complaining on the phone as well. And the level of engagement that the BLP is seeing of people taking the discount, it's 9% of their total customer base. Is that right, Craig? Did the BLP elaborate at all how it works for them, or this is what you got?
9%. Okay. Well, I'm sure we can get the program printed out and get a copy. But there again, all of a sudden, we're raising the theory. It's political cover. Rule set. I mean, we know what we gotta do.
I mean, you're talking about increasing the rate now $20, which is a little less than $7 a month for people. But for somebody that's on fixed income, that's
a lot, I agree.
That is a lot. Here's a comment on the floor, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. This is a work session. Oh, work session.
I own property. I just got my water in Spring Lake, and we pay approximately $85 a quarter for registered charge for the service. So I will be paying your lovely thing fourfold at the time we're done with it. So I have to that the village might not be a bad idea. Taxpayer that pays it all the time. Just for the fact that there's an end game. I've owned my house on Savage Street. Years has never gone down. Only going up. So, I mean, if you're looking at a millage that's going out for 20 years, get what you need to get from it. That there is an end game on that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've always asked the question, why water rates high? Well, how close are we? I can go home and grab them all because I got them.
The township just raised their rates like 15% over there?
Yes.
For the sewer or water?
Both.
Okay. Well, and
I'm just saying, $85 a quarter is a lot of money it's a lot of money.
so I guess my question to Craig would be, they just raised their rates 15%. Where is that in relationship to our rates at this point? You have any idea?
I got that information, but I don't have it.
Okay. Well, they obviously had to raise their rates to cover the same projects we're trying to cover.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we're all hooked in together, and I think
Exactly.
when the service charges all went back many moons ago on when you hooked into the main line, well, our city of Grand Haven's water charges are very low. The village.
City of Grand Haven pays a certain percentage of the sewer, but they have a bigger population, so they don't need as much.
Spring Lake Township probably has more population now because of the growth out there, so it's changed. The village of Spring Lake, like I said, I mean, we pay I just got it today. Water bill for 3 months.
Is that your rental unit?
And we have 2 people living in the house. So obviously there's a toilet running somewhere, which I will be.
You'll be addressing that.
Real soon.
Might
But,
have a leak.
I mean, that's, you know, the $85 of that bill is what you're talking about here.
Well, let me ask you this, Lisa. What do you think the odds of a millage proposal would be? So,
I think if you throw it out there, that there is an end game on it, it's a 15 or 20-year. Next time, not every, it will, but there's also an end.
there is no end.
It is, it's a 20-year.
It's a 20-year.
No, but
It's a 20-year.
After 20 years, there's going to be another millage request.
Exactly.
They have to renew it.
Go back to it again, I mean.
There's no way we're gonna run 20 years without having to increase the rates again.
Well, then at the end of 20 years, you have to ask for that renewal, just like the schools do,
No.
keep the schools afloat.
Yeah. I won't care.
I won't care 20 years. I won't be here.
20 years.
Well, my point, my question, Craig, would be,
Yes,
okay,
another
we get
thing we passed
a
down to
1
the next
mil
generation.
millage, which comes up to around 180,000, correct? Which would cover the bond. Okay, now we're just paying for the project. We still have to pay for the commodity. The process of sewage treatment
We
is
still
going
have
to
that coming in.
increase. So we're still gonna have to increase sewer rates.
But not by 10,
Yeah,
20,
not,
30
not
dollars.
as much at
We
a
can
time.
do the $1, $2.
Just did some calculations, and to pay for the debt service entirely with one raise would be $35 a quarter rate to serve and the 4-cent sewer rate charge increase. An increase of $35 a quarter per customer. Correct.
Gonna say that Tim's, idea for the millage, and Lisa spoke about it too, but that's something nobody likes to, pay on a millage, but what options are there? You either have a millage and it comes out of your property taxes, or you have to pay it in your quarterly water sewer. Millage you could actually ask, and it could go to the public to see what their thoughts are, and if it gets shut down, then you got to raise it. Well, you guys voted no.
And next
Okay,
you gotta
now
go up
you
to the
raise
bridge.
it. That's a whole nother
Getting
issue.
the thing shut
That's-
down.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue is the bridge.
Yeah, I just
We
don't see a millage passing.
We don't know
to be
if
honest
we're
with you.
gonna get grant money to help the bridge. We don't. There's a.
It would I think it would let the residents decide first. If they shoot it down, then we still have the option of raising the rates.
Is there,
You put it
is
out
the
there,
time
it is gonna go up one way or another,
That's
and
it.
you can't not do it, so.
I'd rather have it come out of my taxes than have to come up with extra money.
It's gonna.
Well,
A
the
lot
other,
of money out of
the other question I got
either
is,
way.
okay, if we put it on the millage, you can't get voted on until November, correct? Okay, so,
Is there enough time to get on the primary to August?
well, let's say what's going on in November. If it gets voted down, now we're already 8 months into arrears on the project, on the bond payments.
These proposed rates would not take effect. It goes on the ballot in November. We still got to raise the rates in case it doesn't pass. And if it does pass, then we would reduce the rates to where they currently are at this time. On a
Raise the
millage,
rates $35 and then ask for a millage?
on a millage, you ask for 1 mil for sewer. It does get paid on the property taxes. Some people might be able to deduct those on their income taxes. The other thing on a millage we got to look at is in 2021, our vehicle millage replacement is up. If we
And the
get grant
bridge.
money, if we get grant money for the bridge, we still need to go to the voters to get millage to pay for the engineering and the city match.
Which is,
Also, our with the Headley Amendment, And proposal A, our charter millage allowed is being reduced and reduced. Someday we gotta go to the voters and ask them for a roll-up on our millage.
But you're full of good news tonight.
And if the millage doesn't pass, we're gonna have to come back here and put that RTS charge on there anyway. We're gonna get the money one way or the other.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Debbie. Do we allow, like, if you get a 200? Stagger it out over a 3-month period or something?
Every week if they want.
Okay,
They-
so,
It's, yeah,
so the city does in fact work with,
we take payments anytime, any dollar amount.
We get one time, we have to do a monthly payments too.
And I'll tell you right now, I would look. Because my last order for that same house was $100. So if my tenant's still coming from there, I can catch it every month.
right.
That is a brilliant idea to go, if it's not too bad, to do it every month. And Grand Haven does it every month. Just for the fact that I landlord all those spots from their problem.
Pay it anytime you want. If you want to pay
I'm just
monthly
saying,
when you
'Cause
get
you
your
won't
social
have
security, it's
everybody.
fine,
on the
but
supply
it's,
side though, I mean, you
Mhm.
catch a lot of stuff I've caught.
Mhm.
Wow.
Paying additional staff come out of the water fund.
Oh,
Sewer fund, water fund, yeah.
I just think it would be a kick in the teeth to go to the millage down, and then you just went and did it anyway, so it would seem like, what was the point of the millage? So if you are gonna put something on the ballot, you should almost rather have it as a millage on your tax. I mean,
Yeah.
it just seems like if somebody's actually gonna go vote on something, and then you do it anyway, even if they vote it down.
Could you do that on the website? Could you put a poll up and say, after this? Don't have. So would you like it in the village or would you like it? I mean, it's on the website. That one poll before. It's gonna happen. That's what it is going to happen.
Right.
How does the majority of the citizens of Perrysburg want this to happen?
Well, you understand, this is gonna happen, one way or
That's what
another.
I'm saying.
So I guess this is just a work session.
Well, we have to increase it now. And so for the residents to vote on it, the soonest it could be would be in November, correct? So we still have to raise it either the $20 or the $25. And then the rest of it, have the voters decide, how do you want the rest of that
If the
done?
if the millage passes, then that 25 would be
Would go on to your
would-
taxes,
right. No, that,
or
no,
35, or whatever we decide.
that 35 would be eliminated.
But on the November ballot, the city doesn't bill its taxes until July 1st of the following year. So we got a whole fiscal year.
Well, I think,
Out there, would you like to make?
Would you like
your-
to continue paying?
Paying quarterly, or do you want it in your taxes?
Right, I mean,
That-
we don't give them an option, because it's gonna happen.
You have to pay it, you have to.
Yeah.
There's no getting around
But
it.
the millage comes with an end game. It has an
And
exit
that,
strategy.
and that is what I talk about.
there is no end game, you know, in 20 years, we're gonna end up
Yeah.
raising it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, but still, people get a choice to say that.
Right.
then, You know, I've never gotten a choice.
I
Why, why, yeah,
I think the general consensus is that we just raise it, currently put it out there, we're gonna raise the rates $35, get it over and done with.
Take the flack, and if we want to offer the millage on November, we can.
Yeah.
If people realize that, hey, this is all about, you know what, going down the pipe and not coming back, everybody's for that. So I say we get this done in one fell swoop, and then take the heat. We're gonna get it either way, so let's get it done.
Agreed.
so we're looking at 35, is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I would go for.
Just do
It
it.
has to be paid. Everybody's hands are tied here. There's no out. And even if it goes to a millage and you ask for a millage renewal and they vote that down in 20 years, you're still gonna get hit. I mean, you can do it to make people feel better, but there is no end to sewer rates.
Let me ask you this, Greg, if we vote to go 35%, we're in good shape for
$35.
$35, yeah, $35. We're in good, we're in good shape for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Barring
Nothing
unforeseen.
Nothing comes out of the saw grant, nothing happens at the wastewater treatment plant. Kevin, are you aware of anything coming down the pipeline 4 or 5 years? Kevin does a lot of the work for the wastewater.
It's for the township, their saw grant. Pipe was put in similar time frame, and we're not finding anything with the plastic.
You're pretty confident if we raise it at 35, we're not looking at major, I mean, you obviously, have you shot cameras down our system at all?
Not in Perrysburg, but basic.
Opinion, Matt, you can't just sit there and look pretty. Lean into the microphone so we can get you on the record.
Good. He's starting to become political already, isn't he?
You running for mayor or what? I guess my question being, you've heard the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any?
I can't see it, that's the problem.
Well, I mean, you deal with the system all the time. Do you anticipate them
I'm not
finding?
gonna say yes or no because you can't see it, and things can go wrong quickly underground. And
well, I know.
I honestly, we could be sitting here today and we could walk out of here and something could go wrong. That's just the way it works. It's not perfect. The conditions aren't perfect in which it sits in, but that doesn't mean it could still last a long time without any problems. But I can't say otherwise.
Merton Brusnick ran into a lot of problems on this.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm pointing to him. What's the life expectancy of the plastic sewer pipe that's in the ground right now?
Typically, we run that at 75 to 100 years.
Okay, and we're 30-some years into this?
Early 80s.
Yeah.
Install, so.
Okay.
Close to 40 years. Well, I guess my preference would be to raise it down 35 and be done with it. That would be, nobody's going to be happy. We do offer payment options for, fixed
Want to be on a
income.
budget plan?
Yeah, so I just don't see, that they're going to pay one way or another. In a millage, then, I think just raising the rates are a better option than going for the millage myself.
Is that the consensus?
Yep.
Cruise around my house a few more times, would you?
He's done that before.
We'll prepare the budget with $35 rate of surcharge and 4-cent rate increase. And we'll also look at what it would take to do monthly billing. And then we'll bring that back to city council.
Well, I think what we should do, rather than spending the money to do monthly billing, is when we send out our water and sewer bill, put on there's optional for monthly billing for fixed income.
For monthly payment.
Well, for
Monthly
anybody that
payments.
wants to do monthly payments, you know, because I know the gas company does that.
Right.
You can stretch out for
They're
a year so
estimated,
that you know what that payment is.
So would that be a big deal, typing something like that on our water bill, that our citizens that are on fixed income know they have that option?
Besides that, sure.
Or even on the website, maybe?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I don't want to see
Yeah,
it
we
just
wanna
for
get the word
people
out.
on fixed incomes. Anybody
just
who wants to, if
wants to do
anybody
it.
else would like a payment plan.
So I guess, well, my thought being is if we do it for retired people or fixed income, whether it be retired or on disability, then we don't have to have Debbie hire a new staff member to do it monthly.
Anyone can make a partial payment. You know, and you can come in if they're on fixed income, make a payment. I think if we do like a one-page flyer, tax bill, it's included in my contract.
The percentage might be low too. It's not going to be everybody coming in there. It's
And you're talking about just a payment plan?
right.
But they'd still be paying out the $35 a quarter. Is there any support to the senior discount at all? Like what the Board of Light and Power does, to actually give people on fixed income, primarily senior citizens, some relief?
I believe that's,
Is there any merit in that?
well, I believe that the intent is good, but the reason we went from 20 to 35 is to generate the cash to pay the bond.
I
Well,
understand.
now you're giving a discount to go backwards.
Agreed.
I mean, I guess,
I think it's all or nothing.
yeah, I gotta believe it's all or nothing. You know, I mean, if you'd like Craig to run a number with a discount, you know, I would support that, but,
Bring it out there for discussion.
well, go ahead.
Was there any discount for, I mean, was there any qualifier for the discount, or any senior citizen could get that discount? Did it say?
It
Board of Light and
it
Power?
says in number one there, how does the BLP, this is all regarding
It just says,
the Board of Light and Power. How does the BLP verify applicants applying for the senior discount? We ask
Date
them
of
for their
birth.
date of birth and enter it into their computer system. We do not require supporting documentation to verify. What's the discount between typical and a senior? Seniors receive a $350 a month reduction in monthly service charge. And then what's the percentage of eligible customers to take advantage? About 9% of their total base takes advantage of the discount.
it's not really based on.
No, it's strictly age, strictly age. I'm just looking, the reason I had it called up Craig and asked him about it was just to provide some political cover for those to us and the city staff when senior citizens are calling up and saying, hey, I'm on fixed income and you're whamming me $35 every 3 months. Is there anything you can do for me? Yeah, there is something we can do for you. You know, $10 off or $5 off or something. Not just a payment plan, but a little bit of relief. That's all.
Well, yeah. Fortunately, I think the vast majority of residents in Perrysburg would probably are a lot, I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot are retired. We have a lot of seniors. This could, you know, we could raise it 35 and end up having to raise it again 5 because, you know, I guess I'm, you know, we're gonna take heat regardless. Let's do it once, do it right, be done with it, and offer a payment plan that, you know, does that make sense to you? I mean, if we offer a discount, now we're going backwards again. We need 35. 35 minus 6 is not 35.
Very well.
I mean, yeah.
Online instead of mailing it out with envelopes and paper and so.
Yeah, but a lot of our seniors probably don't have access to computers. Well, maybe so, I don't know. I don't have access to one, so.
Okay.
I don't
Craig,
know.
you have your, marching orders, okay.
All right.
Okay. We'll move on to, 7F, work session on, city council goals. This is, Mike, you wanted this on the?
No, actually, I wanted, city, logo thing. What was that? Yeah.
Mission
Oh,
statement.
mission
And we decided not to because, Rebecca wasn't gonna be here.
Okay.
I guess we, as long as we got it on here, we got a few minutes unless anybody's got, let's just kind of keep an eye on, how we're doing on, the, goals that we set. The maintain balanced taxes, water, sewer rates for financial sustainability. Well, we're working on that one. Have we gotten a report on the bridge? Is that coming soon?
Coming soon, yes.
Okay.
They're doing
The
the
underwater,
inspections.
I read that 3 times and it's not making any sense to me. And Matt, do you have any, I mean, they say, one, we got some scrubbing at such and such as a pier head. We got a crack here and that crack there. But it doesn't really say, do we have to repair all the substructure? Or can we take the deck off and, just leave the substructure as is with some minor repairs? Have you read that report, the underwater report, Matt? Can you enlighten me at all on that? Can you enlighten us?
The water inspection is done every 5 years. That was done last summer. And basically, they really didn't throw any red flags on the piers except some corrosions being noticed on the bottom of the piers. So what that's telling us is we're not going to put a new substructure on top of those piers when we got questions about the piers underneath the water where they're being corroded.
Basically, what that whole report said, 90-some pages I've read 3 times, says is we need to repair the substructure also.
Correct.
A complete replacement.
Piers and the
That's what where we're at.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Well, actually, if you read it, they didn't really, they said, well, it's a 2 out of 5 or it's a 1 out of 3 or we got to get these people to write this in English that normal people can understand. Okay, goal 3 was lift stations. That's been taken care of. Drainage issues, we're taking care of the issues on North Shore Drive when we do the road. The other ones we've taken care of on Cove there where we've had a few issues. Anything else we need to be concerned with, Matt, as far as drainage issues? Okay, did that lady on Cove ever actually, we appropriated the money to co-pay that? Has that ever been done?
Sure, it was ever been done. I seen a mistake come in through that.
They have not started it yet.
Haven't started
Okay,
yet.
but she has intentions of doing it? Because the last 3 big rainstorms, I've driven by there and I have not seen the flooding.
She has not, they have not done it yet. So they're
Okay. All right.
Any other discussions on?
We're on top of
Go,
most of
go
them.
14, live streaming of city council meetings. That has actually been accomplished. All right.
Hopefully, we think we hit the right button.
Hopefully everything's working.
Well, I will never
It's
know.
streaming, but I don't know if it's live.
All right, well, I guess there's a little misunderstanding on that, but, I
We gotta
think
figure it
we're
out
on.
yet.
And Debbie, is that archived for people can view it tomorrow and next week? And
I'll let you know tomorrow.
I know that's one of the big benefits that we've had with posting video on Facebook, is that we got a lot more viewers that were watching it tomorrow, the next day, next week.
That is something we have not discussed, is a retention on the live streaming,
Okay.
which is something we'll have to work on. Yes, it is, because I'm not sure if I'm doing it right tonight yet.
Get some bugs worked out of it.
Yeah,
More training.
I know. We'll get there.
Okay, anything else? Item 8, public comments. Seeing none, close public comments. Number 9, report, city manager. Report. Okay, since he was, Councilmember Carlson.
Well, first this
You
time.
do, yes.
Well, first and foremost, Kitchell Lindquist Dune Preserve. Tomorrow is our meeting at 6:30 across the hall. And I believe that some interns are going to be, resumes at least, are going to be presented to us for our interns that we hire through the summer. And then also we're going to be discussing security, because there's, we bring in added security for the Dunes Preserve for 4th of July and for Coast Guard Festival and that type of thing, primarily to keep boaters from tying up along the lake shore or along the river front. And then also I made a commitment to everybody to discuss Ferry's Book Informed Facebook page, which I'm an administrator of, along with some other individuals. And so I sent all of you an email about 6 o'clock tonight, and I'd like to read it to the public if I could, because I committed to send all of the council members an email regarding it. And it's titled Ferry's Book Informed Facebook page. And I'm one of the administrators of it. Councilmember Kennedy and Mayor Hopp mentioned that several residents complained that they couldn't see certain comments. I can assure you that it has nothing to do with the settings in Ferrysburg Informed. The administrators can do 2 actions on the page, and this is true of any page like Ferry's Book Informed or Grand Haven Informed or Michigan GOP precinct delegates or any other pages that I am associated with. So the 2 actions an administrator can do, and an individual can be totally blocked from the page. The administrators have verified that no Ferry's Book residents are being blocked from this Facebook page. The one and only person who is blocked is from out of town, and they were spamming the page with irrelevant advertising. Posts can be deleted by the administrator. The administrator cannot control individually who sees what posts. Administrators do not allow advertisements or items for sale, and those posts are deleted. And that's one thing that's different with Ferry's Book Informed page compared to Spring Lake Informed or Grand Haven Informed, is that we don't allow advertisements or items for sale. And so we delete those posts. We'd much rather post things about the goings on in the city council, or that the sheriff's department is going to have their cone thing coming up first part of June or something like that. Administrators do not block people or comments that we do not agree with. This is one thing that Ferry's Book Informed is very different than, let's say, Grand Haven Informed, is that the administrators there, and they have 8 or 10 administrators on their page, if somebody starts ranting about something that the one administrator or 2 administrators don't agree with, the comments are deleted. And that is something that doesn't happen on our page. Members may delete posts. In other words, if you're a member of the page, you can delete your own post. And then all comments attached disappear. Members cannot control who sees any particular post, just like an administrator cannot selectively pick who sees any particular post. Ferrysburg informed administrators are committed to transparency. We've been committed to streaming the City Council and Planning Commission's meetings. We encourage and do not block or delete those with views expressed that we don't agree with. As always, following the lead of citizen-run informed pages nationwide, page members with concerns can post a comment on the page to admin, and they will be addressed. And that happens all the time, whether it's Grand Haven informed or Spring Lake informed or Norton Shores informed. Somebody will make a comment and say, hey, admin, you know, I don't like this post. Or can you take a look at this? I don't feel that this is appropriate. So there's a lot of things that we can control, and then there's some things we choose not to control. And what some people see and what other people see, we don't really have control of. I do know if I look on my phone, like what Mayor Hopp had said, that her husband couldn't see certain posts. If I look on my phone at certain things, there's some things on my pad that appear differently. Why? I have no idea. It's up to Facebook. So we're trying to be diligent about it. The city Facebook page doesn't allow for comments, and so there's no chance for interaction there. And the Ferrysburg Inform page allows for citizen interaction and for people to vent. There's been posts recently on there about, hey, I got people speeding up and down my street. And in many communities, that's something the police department, that's a page the police department are watching, because that's where citizens can comment that I've got high speed on Mohawk or on Smiths Bridge or whatever else. So that's all I have to say about it.
This is beginning to sound like a skip in a record, but we've got another pothole on the bridge. This is in the northbound lane towards the end, where it's really bad. I just saw it today, so whenever you can.
Didn't you talk about that last meeting?
Yep.
Same pothole?
No, on the other end of the bridge.
Well, our pothole fixer's broke. We're just getting it back, correct?
Is the pothole fixer back from Saginaw? Good.
I will say, to apologize right away. Fighting an endless battle this time of year when we put coal patch, which is kind of crummy material, into a hole, and the minute it rains, or for instance, we would have snowplowed today or yesterday, rips it right out. So we're trying to wait as long as possible until we can get the hot stuff, which will cure and then last all summer long. But it's kind of getting bad. They're going to start mixing on Thursday or Friday, so I'm trying to hold off as long as we can.
Yeah, I understand. One other thing too, Board of or Public Works, Department of Public Works did a great job in chipping up branches the time that they were out. I appreciate the good work. Thank you.
No report.
Please.
What Terry said, the Coast Guard family picnic is going to be Sunday, July 29th from 1 to 4 p.m. That's all I have.
Beautification Committee is in the throes of the 4th of July parade goings on. They work really hard on that. It's just incredible getting all that organized and everything that goes on there. It's at the mayor's breakfast as well. I attended an elections training this past week, and I also attended the Gracious Grounds Gala, and they were excited about all the different possibilities that they can do in Spring Lake.
And Ferrysburg.
In Ferrysburg, yes, I'm sorry. That's it, and a report.
We did get a rejection letter from the grant that the fire department applied for replacement of the SCBA's. I know you have at least one very upset fireman's wife wants to petition the government to give us money.
Yours?
Yes.
Good luck.
Yes. So you'll see that probably coming up for funds for the fire department keep trying for the grants on that. And in my report, but we have a report from the mayor, her comments for April 16th, 2018. Want to thank you for our area schools and local businesses for supporting Ferrisburg Smith Bridge Grant Program. There were several letters written on behalf of the grant that's going in. Saturday, April 14th, this is the mayor. I welcome the participants to the boater safety class at Keenan Marina, hosted by Keenan Marina Freedom Boat Club and the Ottawa County Marine Patrol. It was well attended, 30 participants, registration filled quickly. I'm excited to have facilitated this collaboration and look forward to additional trainings. I distributed the 4th of July poster contest information to our local schools. The administrators are very excited to have their students participate in this opportunity with the city. I attended the Gracious Grounds fundraiser dinner this past week. During the event, Gracious Grounds shared their audience excitement regarding the recent purchase of the property next door to City Hall. Ottawa County Commissioners have appointed me to the Ottawa County Community Action Agency. This is an honor to represent our residents in Northwest Ottawa County. Just remember the 4th of July parade and the breakfast with the mayor. Is any council member interested in serving breakfast to the community? End of report.
Are you done too?
I am done too.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion
Very
pa-
good. Good job,
Your
Tim.
turn. Motion to adjourn.
We are done. Get to sign your life away.
I do.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a copy of it. This was what Richard Carl